What's up? Prinston coming to you from Cineverse. I'm out here in Oyster Creek. I'm on a Mo City trip right now. And what I want to talk about this week is getting your business organized. Now, I know, so many people make this claim. You can go probably search YouTube right now and look at all kind of videos talking about how to get your business organized. But if you watched my video last week, I talked about the absolute root, finding the real overarching principle that makes the lower level principles correct themselves. So what I want to talk about today is the overarching principle, the bigger principle that keeps you from being organized. And I'm also going to talk about what you can actually do, give you some practical tips to organize your business today. No bullshit. Let's get into it. I want to introduce you to two concepts. One I call the big if, and another one, time thieves. So when you started off, if, conditions. The real reason that you're not organized, or you're not, there's a lot of reasons it could be, but one of the main reasons, the biggest reason I've always seen when I work with clients, when I work with friends and family, is because they haven't made a decision. Now, when I talk about a decision, I'm not talking about, oh, is this right or wrong? I'm talking about making a decision and cutting off all other options. Most people, what they do is they make the decisions based on conditions. So if all conditions are in my favor, I'm gonna do it.
We gotta leave this park and get some work done, bro. Come on.
If I don't feel like working, I'm not gonna work, bro. I'm good right here on the park bench, bro. So if I don't feel tired when I get up, I'm gonna get up and work. If this person doesn't call me today, I'm gonna go ahead and not be distracted. Why would I work that hard, bro? If I don't feel like working, I'm not gonna work. If somebody call me and I get distracted, I'm gonna handle that first. That's just what it is. As long as nothing's going on, I'm going to do it. But they're not making the decision to do it no matter what. Take something like getting out here to film this video. Yeah, sometimes maybe I don't feel like coming out here filming the video. It's hot sometimes, I'm sweating. We're in like weird locations.
This country motherfucker. Got me out here in this country fucked up Kansas.
But it's not an if. I'm gonna actually do it no matter what. I've made that decision that I'm going to do it. It's just like love. When you talk about conditions, right? Think about a family member, somebody you really care about. Is it an if when it comes to, are you gonna support them? Even sometimes I have friends, you may have friends that maybe don't necessarily like all the decisions they're making, but what do you choose to do? You say, I'm gonna support them no matter what. It's not conditional. The same thing with your business. This is the difference between being a hobbyist and a professional. I always tell my clients, my students, anything, I say, you're a hobbyist when everything is conditional. Well, if I don't feel tired, I'm gonna get up and work. When really you have to switch to making the decision. No matter what happens. If I got 2 hours of sleep last night, if all conditions are not favorable, I'm still going to work. And when you do this, then you have the basis to start being organized. So the next thing I want to talk about, and simply I want to talk about, is a time thief. What is a time thief? I read an excellent book called The Time Warrior. And what he talked about in this book was the idea of time thief callers. So basically, you start off, you're saying, man, I'm about to get organized. I'm about to organize my day. Then all of a sudden, people come out, start calling you.
Yo, P, trying to play this Madden or what?
All kind of stuff comes up. And then you look at the end of the day and say, where has the day gone? How did I lose the entire day? But what you didn't look at is all those small conversations and all those small distractions that you had during the day. So you'll start off and maybe your friend will call you and they want to gossip. They want to tell you about what's happening with Bae, some bullshit that's going on with their relationship. Maybe your mom calls you and she's telling you about something that your other siblings doing. She's telling you something about one of your cousins. Some stuff that really, when you look back on it, doesn't have shit to do with what you're doing.
Prinston, what you doing, bro? Are you chilling? Yeah, I'm just chilling too. Oh, for real? All right.
But all these people, they're not doing this maliciously. They're not doing this to intentionally stop you, but they're time thief callers because they're calling to get the most valuable resource that you have. That's your time. It's been said, and this is one of the most said things in self-development and business, is that everybody has the same 24 hours. So if you don't utilize your 24 hours well, it doesn't matter how many tips, tricks, strategies, how many books you read, I love books like Getting Things Done and all that, but it doesn't matter about reading all that type of shit, because if you're not going to make a decision that this is what you're going to do, then it doesn't matter. You have to set a time when you're going to work. If you check my Snapchat out, I wake up every day and I sign in. I get up around 6. It's my favorite day of the week, Massive Action Monday. Let's rise and grind. It's that time of week again, Massive Action Monday. Massive Action Monday is on us. I do a sign-in sheet every day around 9 o'clock. I think the biggest assumption that people think that it's supposed to be easy. I never wanted anything easy. I only wanted it possible. That's why I sign in every day. Massive action. And during that time, I'm working. I made the decision that during the time that I sign in and sign out, no matter what's happening, no matter how I feel, no matter what's going on, I'm going to make that decision to work. And that is the first basis when it comes to being organized in anything. Making the decision and eliminating time thieves. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is building momentum throughout your day. Now, a lot of times when you start out, you're going to do something, you're going to do some tasks for the day. What ends up happening is you get up and you start trying to make a decision about what to do next. So you'll start your day and say, okay, what's the first thing I have to do? What's the first thing on my agenda? And then as soon as you finish that task, you stop again. What's the next thing I have to do? What's the next thing on my agenda? And all of a sudden your day spirals into all these undecided moments that waste a lot of time. And you wouldn't even see this. A lot of people, it's almost imperceivable that this wastes so much time. And one of the biggest cures for this is having a set plan or a goal for each day. But even going to just a day won't be enough, because what tends to happen is, yeah, you have your goals for the day, but what happens when you end that day? Maybe you finish the tasks and stuff that you were doing quicker than you thought, but then what do? You sit there and think about, okay, now that I finished this, what can I do after that? If you had your goals, your long-term, your short-term, your mid-term goals, all these things would allow you to build momentum, because once you start one goal, it's easier to get started, or to continue, instead of trying to get started over and over, stopping and starting. It's like acceleration on a car. If a car is already going 60, it's going to be easier for it to get to a higher speed than it is going to be if you start from 0 to 60. So just two cars sitting at a starting line. If one car comes whizzing past it, the other car is going to take some time to get up to 60 miles per hour. And it's the same way with your goals. If you're always constantly stopping to think about what to do next, what I have to do next, or trying to decide what you should be doing, then you're always going to be slowing yourself down. And you're going to always be losing time, which is crucial when it comes to being organized. A part of being organized is being able to hit marks that you set. So if you got a certain time of day that you need to do something, or a certain time of day you need to meet with people, well, you don't want to spend that time thinking about what you have to do, because then you waste the time allotted to what you're supposed to be doing. And then what happens? All your organization falls to shit, because now you ran over on the things that you were supposed to be doing. So building this daily momentum is so crucial to being organized. So now that I've talked about some of the ways that the mental things are going to block you from getting to the next level or being organized, I'm going to talk about some of the practical things that I use in order to be organized. Some of the things that you can start using today to get organized. And of course, I give you a massive action challenge, and we can really start getting organized seriously. So the first thing is planning your day the night before. I can't tell you how useful this strategy is and how it's helped me so much. When you wake up in the morning, you don't waste any time trying to get into the swing of things, because you know the first thing, the second thing, and the next thing you need to be doing. Of course, your 24 hours, how you need to plan out everything that you're doing that day. So if you're going to wake up and you're going to start working out at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, have that plan. If you're going to wake up and you're going to start working at 9 o'clock in the morning, have that plan. If from 10 to 12 you're going to take client calls, you're going to prospect new business, whatever it is, you need to set times where you're doing this work and stick to them. Doesn't matter who calls, doesn't matter what's going on. Unless it's an absolute emergency, do not break the promises to yourself. This is one of the main things of getting organized. Now, all your day needs to be planned out, and of course you need to be able to review how you could have done your day better. What I do at the end of every day is have an after action report where I talk about what I could have done better, where I slipped up, and how I can organize my day. Now, that divided intent of not knowing what you're going to do the next day, that's what starts you getting started slowly. I notice that divided intent, like thinking about, oh, well, should I do it or should I not do it or whatever, right? That's really what makes stuff so low quality. It's like it shuts you down. Sometimes you'll find yourself trying to get into the swing of things, and your whole day will get lost early because you're like, oh, well, what am I going to start on today? And then you'll find yourself taking 1, 2, 3 hours to get started, and then you've lost the entire day. You've let it get away from you. So the first thing is planning the night before, and then secondly, having your entire day planned out, everything you're going to do for the day. And you can even take that even further about when you're going to have recreation, if you're going to read, whatever you're going to do, have the entire thing planned out. So set a chart. From this time to this time, I'm going to do this work. From this time to this time, I'm going to do this work. From this time to this time, I'm going to do this work. And then the next thing you want to be is have a system, a daily operating procedure for what you're going to do. So what's going to happen in case an emergency happens? How are you going to get that work back? What's going to happen in case an important client calls? How are you going to handle that? What happens if somebody calls outside of the time that you specified? Now, I'm going to give you a hint here. You should always schedule your meetings and your clients inside a window that allows you to complete the most work. But if you don't have that time that you've allotted towards that day, then you're never going to get organized. There's all kinds of books you can read about this, but the biggest thing you need to remember is that you need to have your day planned out. And the last thing I'll say about this is that there's a lot of different ways to plan things out, and there's a lot of different strategies, but the reason I always recommend doing it this way is because you have to find something that works for you, a strategy that works for you. One of my friends, Will Pye, is the nightlife architect. He's a club promoter, and a lot of his business is done at nighttime. A lot of the business that he does is after 2 o'clock in the morning. So his schedule is not going to be the same as maybe my schedule. So the things that he has to do to get organized, they're going to be a lot different. So before we can even talk about putting systems in place to be organized, we have to see what works for you. And once you find out what works for you, you need to set your day, plan your day, and start organizing. Okay, one more quick point I want to add to this is having a system. Now I'm adding this to this video because I think this is important to talk about when you think about getting organized, having a system. If you meet any of my friends, they'll tell you I always talk about having systems in place. But I'll do a longer video, a more in-depth video about systems. But basically it's this. Everything you do should have some type of system so you don't have to memorize everything. This also takes a lot of energy when you're trying to get things done. So for example, let's say you're a shopkeeper. And if you had to think about how to open up every day, okay, do I cut on the lights? Do I turn off the alarm? Do I go in? I get the kitchen started? All these things would cause you to waste time early. So also you wouldn't be organized because you wouldn't know how to delegate that job to somebody else. So get organized as an entrepreneur is going to require a different level of organization than just say somebody who knows how to file good. So what I'm talking about here is like having a process for everything that you do. So if you're a shopkeeper, you would have itemized step by step. Hey, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. Open up, cut off the alarm, go to the kitchen, turn on the lights. All these things allow 2 things to happen. It allows you to be able to quickly reference the things that you need to do and give them to, say, for example, your employees or somebody who's working for you. Or it allows you to also not have to memorize these things. It allows you to operate bigger businesses and bigger strategies because what? All the systems are already in place. You have thought about them beforehand and you can use them and implement them in your projects, in whatever you're doing. So also make sure you systematize everything. Everything that you do have a system. The more you can systematize it, the more you can get organized. You don't have to memorize anymore, so it makes it a lot easier and it's a lot less on your mental hardware, a lot less energy being exerted to try to think about these things. So I just wanted to add that. I'll go more in depth in systems later on, but I wanted to add to this video because I think it's absolutely necessary to be organized. All right, so before I wrap this up, I want to give you 2 more things, 2 little things I just thought about. There's some applications you can use to help you stop distractions. So one I like to use is called Clear Focus. They got a bunch of different types, but basically Clear Focus is an application that allows you to set intervals for when you're going to work. So say, for example, you said you're going to work hours straight. You can set the interval, and what it does, it cuts off all the other distractions on your phones, Instagram, Snapchat, everything that's going to distract you. Another one I like to use is called the Self-Control app. I use it on my iMac, and what it does is it blocks all the websites that cause you to be distracted. So I want you to remember those 2 things. So to wrap this up, I want you to remember 3 things. Avoid the big if, conditional decision making. Don't make your decisions based on conditions. Decide to cut off all other options. If you say you're going to do it, don't bullshit and just go do it. It's not any condition that's why you need to do it, or if this happens, you just decide you're going to do it and do it. Next thing, eliminate all time thieves. People calling, not talking about nothing. Hey, bro, I want to do business with you. We need to sit down and talk business. You know what I'm saying? But never do they actually want to do business. And you need to discern the people who are actually talking about doing business from the people who are not really doing business. Next thing, building that momentum out the day. Don't let your day get away from you. Build your day in a way that you're building momentum throughout the day so you don't have to sit around meandering around. What do I do next? What's the next thing I need to do? What's going to happen next? So make sure you build your day correctly and get that momentum so you can keep going throughout the day. And finally, I want to leave you with your massive action challenge for the week. So this week, it's about goal setting and planning your day and organizing your day. So what I want you to do is I want you to take out a sheet of paper and I want you to write 10 goals, 10 specific goals you're going to accomplish. So this is different from, say, for example, just saying, oh yeah, I want to be well known in 6 months. Set specific targets that you're going to reach in the next 6 months. So something like 10,000 Instagram followers, make 20,000 in profit. All these things, I want you to set 10 goals, make them specific and make them realistic. Don't make them something that's just vague, like I'm going to make $20 million in the next 2 months. That's just unrealistic. And if you're somebody who can do that, well, that's good, but just set them realistically. Also, I want you to take out a calendar app, get a sheet of paper, anything that's going to help you do this, and write down and plan out what you're going to do every part of your day. So how many hours you're going to work, if you're going to read, recreation, if you're going to work out, all your day should be planned out. You should even have on the weekends if you're gonna go out, have fun, all this type of stuff. Plan it out completely. And then the night before, you look at that so you'll know exactly what you need to be doing the next day. All these things work together, and it's gonna be the first step to getting organized. We could go deep on this topic, deep on this topic, but this is just to get you started to start getting organized, and we'll probably go more in depth on this later in the future. So as usual, what I want you to do, I want you to hit that like, kill that subscribe button, join the massive action movement. Don't be a massive action talker, be a massive action taker. I'm about to get off this, what is this, a lake or stream, ravine, whatever you call it, before some alligators bite me in my ass. So I'll see you next week, and let's go take some action.
Bro, listen, bro. You want to keep staying at your mama's house. You want to keep sleeping on the floor. You don't want to live the way you want to live.